been meeting with a lot of clients who they need to sell their house in order to buy the next one. Contingency offer. I'm sure you've heard that before. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you are needing to sell your house in order to buy the next one, there's a very specific process to that. And a lot of times the person in the middle is the one who is going to give the most. And that sucks. And I hate that. And we will do our best to protect you. But like, let's be real. And honestly, I think that people pay me to tell them the truth and to tell them what to expect, because I think the worst thing that somebody could do is to avoid a difficult conversation up front and then pay for it later. And the person is like, why didn't you tell me this? What I mean by that is when you are buying a house and you have to sell your home, there's an additional document that goes with that, and it protects you on that purchase, so that if the contract on the home that you're selling busts, well, then the contract that you're buying, you're not forced to buy that house, because obviously it's, you know, contingent on the sale of the other. Well, that's an added layer of risk to the seller. So a lot of times, in order for them to be willing to take on that risk, they're going to want you to pay a little bit more for the house. They're going to be a little bit less flexible on the terms, because they are going to expect the offer to be good enough for them to take on that risk with you. Because if the contract on the home that you're selling busts the day before closing, so does theirs, and everybody's up a creek, right? So there's that. On the sell side, here's where that catches people off guard. There's, you know, obviously negotiations, because you're going to want to sell the house. So you get an offer. You may be a little bit more willing to take less on your home just to get it under contract so you can move forward. But the other thing to consider is during inspections, because think about it this way. So you've got this other home under contract. Your home that you're selling is under contract, and it's not contingent on you purchasing this next one, right? Because it doesn't go both ways. Now, you can write it that way, and I have been successful at writing it that way. It's a little tricky, and it definitely takes some knowledge about how contracts work. We can help you with that, but like, we can write that contract to be contingent, but then you've got risk on the buyer side, and so you're asking those people to take on your risk as well. So it just gets a little squirrely. So you are doing inspections on the property that you're purchasing. Well, let's say something comes up. Well, you know that your property is under contract. You can't really get out of that very easily. So you may be needing to accept this property that you're purchasing in a condition that maybe you otherwise wouldn't love, because you know that your home that you're selling is under contract. And then vice versa, like, you've got this house you're selling on the other side. The buyers on your house know that, and so they may ask a little bit more from you on repair negotiations, and you know that to continue with this purchase, you've got to move forward with this purchase. So do you see how all of those negotiations work together? Now, it doesn't have to be that way. Negotiating, you can say no. You can be like, I'm not doing that. But just know what the ramifications are up front. So that catches people a little bit off guard. And the person in the middle sometimes feels like, why am I the one giving? Why am I the one that's giving on this side and giving on this side? And the reason is, you need those dominoes to line up exactly. And that's kind of difficult sometimes. Not impossible. And honestly, this is the market to do that in, right? Like, this market, I'm in Oklahoma City. I've been a real estate agent for over a decade now. I've sold over 700 houses, and this market is great for contingency offers, for people who need to sell on a contingency. Because we've got a ton of inventory right now. So sellers are a little bit more open to accepting a contingency offer than maybe they have in our recent past markets. Because when presented with two offers, and one of them is a contingency and the other is not, a seller is likely going to go with the one that's not. But if the only thing they have on the table is a contingency offer, then they're more willing to have that conversation. Or when the contingency offer is really strong, they may be willing to choose it and take on that risk with you, because your offer is better than maybe the non-contingent offer. I feel like I have had that conversation 5 times a week here recently, and I know I've had it 3 times this week. So I will say, just know that if you're going to purchase a property and you must sell your home that you're in, there are some nuances that you should be aware of. There's more. That's not everything. There's some timing nuances that I would love to visit with you about. If that's you, if selling your home in order to buy the next one is the situation that you're in, just shoot me a DM. If you know somebody who's in this situation and they've been waiting for the right time to sell their home and buy the next one, share this video with them. May give them something to think about. Like I said, it's not impossible, and you will not be taken advantage of. There are just going to be some maybe specifications that you need to be aware of so that you can move forward and get the house of your dreams and sell the one that has been a blessing to you since you've owned it.